Welcome to Indian Tennis Daily. You joined MSLTA in 2014, right? No, as a council member, and now you are the vice president, right? So,
Yes.
actually, how did you come into tennis administration? Like, what prompted you?
Oh, it's a long story. As you know that I used to play tennis.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So then I was also a tennis coach till 2002. And when I was in Sangli, I had an academy in Pune, near the south of Pune, 200 kilometers. So there I organized first state level tournament with the help of the district authorities and all, which was 1998, I think, or 97. And from there I started, having connection with MSLTA. Also did a lot of coaching camps for MSLTA. So this is how I started connecting with MSLTA in those days. Of course, Sundar introduced me to MSLTA right from 96, 97. I also used to do the umpiring, linesman. After 2002, I stopped active coaching. 2002, 2003. Before that, I was engaged with tennis. So this is how I started getting into MSLTA as a one of the you may be contributor or whatever you say.
Volunteer.
Yeah, volunteer. Yes.
We move on to. I would like to ask about Maharashtra Tennis Foundation. I think with the MSLTA Maharashtra government, I think you took the initiative to bring all these people together. And so, can you talk about Maharashtra Tennis Foundation? You are a CEO now, right? I mean, you are the CEO now. So
yes.
How did the whole idea come about, and how did it transpire, and to be now you run academies and all that now?
Yeah. So once I during that 2003 to 2000, probably 7-8, I was struggling to get my business, 7 or 10 probably. So get my industry and all. So I was not in touch with tennis, practically not in touch with any of the tennis activities or tennis players. But then in 2010, I started coming back again, doing a lot of work with the tennis association. And that's why first we did, the tribal academy. You must have heard from Sundar.
Yeah.
So we initiated that tribal, one of the flagship project of MSLTA and the government of Maharashtra tribal department, where we trained tribal local players, tribal locals to become tennis coaches, linesmen, officiating, and few of them have really got done well. They have now working as a coach. Someone is working as a linesman. So that was I was a part of that initiative. And then also we did this Davis Cup after 40 years in Pune. I was also part of that initiative with, of course, Sundar and Bharat Ozaji and MSLT team. And then, 2014, I became the council member, and then probably 18, I became the vice president. So during that period, MSLT is always active with doing a lot of tournaments. You must be knowing it. Yeah, a lot of activities across the state. Too many tournaments, camps, international tournament, local tournament. We do sponsor people. So once we with the MSLTA team, me and Sundar were discussing about doing some concrete things, much more bigger events in Maharashtra. And luckily this Chennai Open came. Like Chennai Open was in transition phase. So we discussed internally. There's an issue going on with the Chennai Open, and that might go out of India. Why can't we just think of retaining it in India and in Pune or in Maharashtra? So as MSLT has always been positive, they said why not, we'll just give it a try. And then we approached the government of Maharashtra, and we just had less than a month to decide whether to yes or no. So we just grabbed that opportunity, and then rest of right, like this is the 4th year. So during that that ATP event, we decided that just doing a ATP tournament of this magnitude is not going to do, only tournament is not going to be of help. So we should also have a parallel activity of promoting tennis across the state. So reaching out to the rural areas, having more tennis players at the district level should be participate in the tennis tournaments or in the tennis academies. So we started the Smart Tennis Foundation. The Smart Tennis Foundation is a joint venture between Maharashtra State Lawn Tennis Association and the government of Maharashtra, where we have authorities from government of Maharashtra are members, chairmen of that MSLTA secretary and president also is a member of that Smart Tennis Foundation. So that whatever corpus we are going to gather out of this tournament will be spent for the development of tennis across the state along with MSLTA. We might start a high performance tennis academy. We are already sponsoring players, from districts. We are supporting them. So we also started an academy in Pune where more than 150 players are playing. If anybody cannot afford tennis, we are there. We give them free tennis, free rackets. There is no need of paying them, provided they are good and they really want to do something. So this is how about Maha Tennis Foundation. We have a lot of other goals in coming 2 years to expand the Maha Tennis Foundation.
Okay. In the 4 years or 5 years of Maha Foundation, any achievements you would like to highlight?
Yes. Now we have, as I said, we have a India number 2, I think, with 14 under 12. We had India number 1 under 14. Now we have India number 2 or 3. So we have a couple of good players. But as I said, there are a lot of academies, there are a lot of coaches across India. So our aim is not only to produce the high competitive players, but to reach out to the entire state and promote junior kids, youngsters to start playing tennis. Because we need to increase the footfall across the state. Once we have players playing like in numbers, the results will start getting in. Then probably we'll get them to Pune. We will send them to good coaches. We'll pay them for their fees and all. So this is the structure what we are trying to build.
Moving on, you mentioned about the Davis Cup in Pune. I think after 42 years they had it. That must have been your first big event, right? You are involved in.
Yes, that was the first big event I was involved.
So
certainly,
how was your experience doing an event of that caliber?
Where Sundar is being, experienced enough to have such a big event, and he did it look like a really professional event. The draw ceremony or the players, welcome, the players party, the entire stadium was packed.
I think after the Davis Cup experience, I think then you did you had the WTA and then the Tata Open. So the challenges must have been different, right? When you do a WTA or an ATP, because they come in with their own requirements.
Yes.
Number of players are more. So can you talk about those challenges?
So we did the 3 years. Yeah, we did 3 years WTA 125 event. Was in Mumbai. It was called L&T. L&T was the title sponsor. And due to COVID, it has stopped. But very soon we're going to start the WTA Open again. So WTA relatively is much easier than the ATP because the regulation of WTA and ATP, it better than me also. So it's much at smaller level. But again, we were praised by the WTA that this would have been one of the best tournament organized in wherever tournament happened. So we also did that in a style, in a particular manner.
A lot of players stand to gain, and that's basically the main.
Of course. We did the J1, the Asian Junior Championship just last month. That was sponsored by my company, and we are going to continue that also.
Yeah, you mentioned about your company sponsoring the Asian Juniors. So do you have plans to sponsor more, from your company, looking to sponsor more such events, or you're going to diversify and do in different age groups?
No. See, what I'm planning is under our CSR activity, we are going to sponsor players. Like we are already supporting Arjun. We are already supporting another guy under 18 national champion. We are supporting him. There is one girl from Solapur we are supporting. So we are going to stick to tennis and the tennis related activities under our CSR activities, and also do a few tournaments. Whenever there is a shortfall for any funds, probably we'll step in and support the local authorities or the local clubs to take their initiative ahead. They should not stall because of lack of financial support. So wherever there is a problem, RN pumps will come and support them.
Prashant, No, every administrator has their own strength. Some are good with the manpower management. Some are good with bringing in sponsorship. Some are good with the publicity and the PR. Some are good with organizing and licensing with everybody. So what do you think your strength is when you're organizing events of this big magnitude?
Yeah. So I'm lucky and fortunate enough to have a solid team in our association, state association, as well as in Maha Tennis Foundation. Like if I talk in Maha Tennis Foundation, we have two strong supporters from the senior bureaucrats. My two friends Sanjay Khandare and Praveen Darade, both are tennis fanatics. So they are supporting both the initiatives. Then in foundation, of course, MSLTA, the Sundar Iyer Bharatoza and entire MSLTA team is absolutely magnificent when it comes to promotion. And then foundation, we have Abhishek Tamane. You must be knowing him. He is our treasurer. So, he does fantastic job. He is doing a lot of events in Pune. He's also secretary of PMDTA. So, Sundar and team looks after the education. Abhishek and all, they looks after the education. I personally, if you ask me, I am, I try to put my views, my vision, what has to be done, what should we do and all. And then also I try to get the resources, because I always say if a good initiative will definitely be supported by, various stakeholders. So normally I put my visions, execution agencies, and of course this team, and then I also good at getting resources together. So it's a good combination.
You grew up in Kirloskar Wadi, right near Sangli,
yeah.
And those days you were traveling, playing tournaments, and now your son plays tournaments. So do you think when you look at his travel and the way he goes about, how do you relate to what you went through?
Well, it cannot be compared, Balu. The way we used to travel and these people travels is completely different scenario. They have certain mindset, and we used to travel in train, whatever, second class, third class, or first class. Never used to bother. But nowadays, I always tell them what the situation where we used to play and the situation where you are in. Their generation, not him. In fact, the next generation is completely different. So sometime, we'll have to tell him the difference between,
Yeah. And is that having grown up in Kirloskar Wadi, is that a reason why you have this passion towards contributing to tennis now that you're in a position to do so?
Yes, absolutely, Balu. Because see, if you see any sport, hardly players from the cities have come, the big cities. Everyone has come from the rural areas. You take it any sports, you take any tennis players, cricket, basketball, or tennis, or any hockey, or they all come from rural areas, because they are, they don't have any other activity rather than focusing on their goals. Their strength level is different. So I believe that if you grow into the other areas than the metro cities more, we will definitely get more talent and more results. And, we can aim for the at least 10 years down the line, getting a medal in Olympic. So I strongly believe that we should spread our legs across the state and not only stick to in the cities.
Prashant, one last question. You mentioned about bringing in children from outside, and you're interested in spreading pan India your activities. So now you're in MSLTA. So do you have any plans to be part of AATA in the near future?
Definitely, if you get if anything to do with sports, anything to promote tennis, and if there is any requirement, I will be happy to come and support the All India Tennis Association in any various ways. Not necessarily it has to be in the organizing or that council body, but otherwise also I'm happy to help AITA any given point of time.
Okay. Thank you, Prashant. I know you're really busy now. Thanks for talking to Indian Tennis Daily, and I'm sure your vision and your plans will will happen in the near future. And all the very best to you in all your endeavors in business and in tennis and in personal life.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Balu, and look forward to see you in Pune.